want to ask you about Joe.
Yeah, you can ask me anything.
At what point did it go from like platonic drinking buddy to like hooking up?
Apparently, I'm not great with timelines, but
Like reasonably quick.
maybe like, I would say we started hanging out maybe like in July, or no. I would say within
In like a month or something?
A month or two, yeah. Month and a month and a half.
Her trying to be like such a good friend to me and sending me that text when we announced our divorce. I love you, I respect you.
She sends me a text message saying, I respect you, I support you, love you. And then a few months later, she's living with Tom Schwartz.
And then after she'd been hitting me up to be like, hey, would you mind asking Tom if he like needs a haircut? I'm like, first of all, like, don't you have Instagram? Like, can't you like send him a DM and ask him if he needs his haircut? You're not like, it's not like you're asking anything inappropriate here. It's a fucking haircut. But she like wouldn't just hit him, like she just kept hitting me up. And then next thing you know, it's like, she doesn't mind asking him to stay with him. That's a bigger ask than a haircut. At a really weird kind of sensitive time when you're going through a divorce and you're gonna, it just seems like you are weird. That is very weird to me. I bet she drinks milk. No!
We never lived together, and we'd always been kind of friends, but we had no line of communication or anything. And all of a sudden, you know, she came over and did my hair, and the next thing you know, like, we just, like, over the course of, like, maybe a month or two, we just, like, we became really good friends.
So the first that I had ever heard about Joe and Tom Schwartz, even Joe just crashing at his place, I had just moved into my new apartment, which is in Katie's same building, which is very close proximity to where Tom Schwartz lives. Luke and I had just started dating. Luke came into town, and Joe, Luke, and I went out to lunch in the Valley. That was the last time I've seen Joe. That was the last time Joe and I were friends in person.
Wow.
And this was July of the year before last.
July, the affair year.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Before it came out. So all of a sudden, I'm texting her, I'm calling her, how are you, do you need anything, what's going on? I'm normally with her, no joke, like 4 days a week probably. Whether that's she needs to stay at my house, she needs help with her dog, or just whatever it is. And suddenly I'm getting ghosted. And then I get a call from Katie while Katie's filming Vanderpump Rules. Katie was at Tom's house filming. She went to go use the restroom and sees all of this girl stuff in Tom's bathroom. And she's like, what the f, Joe's living here? And I had no idea. And that was the first that I heard about it.
Weird.
So I tried from that point on to talk to Joe about it and just figure out what was going on, and I handled it very delicately. Like, just tell me, like, what the hell, what, you and Schwartz? Like, I live down the street. Why didn't you ask me if you needed a place to live? I have a brand new two-bedroom apartment. Not dating Luke at this time, don't have a live-in anybody. Like, this is so odd. But then before the Raquel and Sandoval thing came out, a lot of friends of mine in the Valley would see Joe, Tom Sandoval, Tom Schwartz, and Raquel hang out quite often. And at that time, like, it was right after your wedding, we all thought Schwartz and Raquel had a thing.
Right.
And that Tom Sandoval and Joe were just like the only friends they could hang out with.
Yeah.
So it was like, well, this is a weird foursome. And then come to find out, it's more like a double date. And it's actually Sandoval and Raquel and Schwartz and Joe. I'm sorry, everyone, I'm sorry, okay? Here's my public apology. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for bringing James into the group. I am sorry for bringing Joe into the group. I am sorry.
Sandoval, you ask Katie to give you some grace.
Katie Grace Maloney.
You don't think that there's any issue with having like random strangers in this house? You're cohabitating, sharing a space, and it's giving audacity is what it's giving.
Give me a little bit of grace.
No.
What did you take away from that conversation?
That Tom Sandoval has not done like any kind of introspective work. He has zero clue as to like what he's even done, or like he's not given a thought to this whole thing. He sat there and told me, it's just so hard, you know, when you like fall in love with someone and like you're just emotionally like not there. Like, I'm sitting there being like, you don't think I know. I walked away from a 12-year marriage when I still like loved the person, when I still just because I wanted to be happy. I didn't start his friend
We're not the
behind his
same
back.
people.
Obviously. I'm like, yeah, no, I know exactly what that's like.
This little sob story bullshit might have worked on other people, but
Yeah,
it's not gonna work for me.
I know exactly what it's like to tell the person that you do love, that you still have love for, that you're just not in it anymore and you want a divorce. It's a respectable thing to do. I didn't go his best friend for 7 months and then
drag him to couples therapy.
You waited a year and 7 months to do that.
Exactly.
He literally my best friend.
Exactly.
It was so brief and awkward, and I just was like trying to get a temperature gauge like on where she was at.
What did you guys talk about?
I think we talked about you for a second.
I want to apologize to you for the way I acted last year during your divorce.
But you're apologizing, that's great, but for me, like, apologies are just like words. At the end of the day, Tom, like, you f***ed up big time.
Oh, yeah.
Nice tactic. Also, don't believe it.
Do you attribute your divorce in any way to Tom Sandoval?
I think he definitely, he played a, a role in there, but I don't believe, it's not like necessarily his fault because Tom Schwartz allowed that.
I don't put any blame on you for the end of our marriage. I take full responsibility for, my shortcomings.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I don't have anyone to really blame but myself, to be honest. Maybe the bar a little bit. It was so f***ing demanding, unrelenting opening the bar, and I became absorbed in that world. And maybe I wish I could have done things differently, and been there for her more. But man, it just was f***ing insane, actually.
I think his negative viewpoint of me didn't help Tom's viewpoint of me, because I think also like having a healthy relationship is having a healthy viewpoint as well. Like when it comes to like any kind of effective functional communication, if you order coming from a negative viewpoint, there's nowhere to go. And he has such a terrible view of me that Tom Schwartz, he had the same, he began to share the same opinions and viewpoint, I think.
I think they both have referred to you as emotionally entitled.
You have a tendency to feel very f***ing entitled with your feelings.
I would prefer actually if you left. Bad energy in here. Emotionally entitled, bad energy.
I think it's pretty emotionally entitled to be like, I'm in a bad place, so I'm just gonna like
coming
wreak
from the
havoc
two-
on my 9-year partner's life. That sounds pretty emotionally entitled, whatever the f that actually
And coming
means.
from two of the most emotionally immature people I've met, I don't really give a f. How's that for emotionally entitled? Gentlemen.
Schwartz, so you invited Jax Taylor to come hang out with the guys at Tom Tom.
As someone who's very close with you both, it's nice, I gotta say. I crave peace.
It sucked.
I saw a picture of you on social media a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, holy this guy looks like he's 50 years old.
It was not great.
The whole world is talking about you. The whole entire world.
I was not stoked about that.
Called me
No,
out
I
on a
did
bunch
not.
of
No, I
Not
didn't.
a friend at all.
Oh,
You know
God,
what?
Jax, you know what?
You're
Just
me
ask you.
7 years ago.
I'm
You're like,
not
humble
exactly you.
Yeah, you are. You are. If not worse.
I will say, knowing Jax, I knew I would have to put up with that once, and then afterwards, it would be a lot better hanging out with him.
I'll give you a hug, man. I'll give you a hug, you know?
Seeing you, man.
Seeing you too, man. I really do want the best for you. At my point in my life, I don't really believe in holding grudges. I don't really think there's a reason for it. Takes a lot more to be angry at somebody. And like I said, it's not worth it. Like, if he's been my friend a lot longer than he's not been my friend, you know what I'm saying? And we have a lot of history just to throw it all away over something that I've done too.
Yeah.
You know, I could.
You did have sex with her?
Yes, it's true.
Rotten hill.
I was angry about a small thing, and that's just because I felt bad for Tom Schwartz. I just felt like because there was the bar there, and he was getting influxed of hate, and there was a lot of things he was beating on with Schwartz and Sandy's, and I felt like, and I know Tom had to deal with it in his own way. Now that I look back on it, his way of dealing with it was to escape and go travel and go be in his band. Now, but at the time, I'm looking at him like, how can you leave your friend like this? He's going through hell because of something you did. And he's got his own family issues back home, and now he's got to deal with the bar, and then he's got to deal with Katie, and he's got to deal with people coming at his restaurant and throwing graffiti everywhere. That's the only part that I was like, how could you do that to your buddy? But he had his reasons. I just don't think I'm going to I'm not going to throw away a relationship.
Yeah, it takes a lot of energy to do that, and then
he knows what he's done wrong. The whole world knows what he's done wrong. I'm like, what's it going to be me to be like, you did this? Like, one more person? Like, for what?
It definitely, and it definitely appeared that way. I had booked shows already like way in advance, and it does suck. I know what I did. It was really bad, and I do feel really bad about it, and I obviously hurt people, and it was very like traumatic to some people for sure to see how something like this could happen. It is nice to see that some good can come out of it. You know what I mean? That like it is nice to see that. It's nice to see that Ariana's thriving. I think it helps with the whole situation.
Well, I love seeing you all back together, and I have to ask, Jax, are you still the #1 guy in the group?
Stop acting like you're the #1 guy in this group, man. I'm the #1 guy in this group. Well, yeah. Yeah.
Duh.
Duh. I mean, yeah.
Is Jax the #1 guy in the group on the Valley?
Duh.
I think so.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely the #1 guy.
No.
No, Jason is.
Cruz.
But out of the adult men.
Luke.
I'm sorry, none of the guys are the #1 guy in the group.
I think I'm the #1.
Right, I was like, Jasmine can take that.
I will say Jax is involved in everybody else's business more than any other individual is.
Yeah.
And I feel like the #1 would be like,
He is so butthurt. I know he's so butthurt.
Why?
That you are the #1 guy in the group. I know for a fact that he is so butthurt about that.
Jackson, now he's got his bar on Ventura. He's running the town. I mean, call him the kingpin of the valley, for fuck's sake. Like,
He's the #1 guy in the valley.
Jax thinks he's the #1 guy of the mafia right now. Like, he is running the world.
well, you'll find out that Jax and Jesse have a lot of similarities.
Yes.
And they like to be the life of the party. So Jesse would say that he's the #1 guy in the group.
I posted the teaser on Instagram
you're
and
coming
said the
for
new
him.
#1 guy in the group. He was not happy with that.
Jesse tried to post our first promo thing. It was like the new #1 guy in the group. I was like, oh Lord.
Are you
That's
joking?
No, it's like kind of embarrassing.
That is
honestly
really embarrassing.
By default, he's been on this ride the longest for like 12 years
We don't
of his
need to
life.
kiss his ass.
I'm just saying.
I could sit here and say, well, no, but we all know I am.
Oh my God, there it is. You still got it. You still got it.
I still think it's me.
No surprise.
Nothing makes Tom and Tom happier than getting off a shift at Tom Tom and going straight to the Belmont to take a big shit.
That's the best poop bathroom in all of West Hollywood.
Like, I don't want to.
That is the best poop bathroom in
I
all
want
of
to use the other bathroom.
No, he's the expert on it.
It's kind of like our Cheers. It was for a long time, you know? So we got used to that bathroom, and it's like, it's a good area. I love that room. It's a great room.
I haven't been there in a while, but I think that they did put a lock code on the really good pooping bathroom in there.
Is this an actual conversation that 40-year-olds were having?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one that 40-year-olds are trying to have right now. You know?
America in general with their stalls, man.
Yeah.
There's like a voyeuristic element to bathrooms in America.
There's like that little crack right, where the door
Dude, it's like-
closes. It's
I don't like that.
ours
I
is-
don't like
there's
that at
no-
all. Because you got to lean over like this to make sure no one's looking.
I know, no, eye contact's a disaster.
No eye contact.
You know, the bathroom at the Grove actually is floor-to-ceiling doors.
It seems like way too much foot traffic at the Grove. Yeah,
Like
that's
the
on those
farmer's
seats.
market bathrooms?
No, like by valet where the
Oh, yes,
escalators
yes,
are.
yes.
They're really
Oh,
nice
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
clean, and
Yeah.
you know, sometimes you can sneak into the family one when you're with the kids and blame it on the babies.
Who's taking shit in bathrooms?
Where are you taking shit? If not bathrooms?
In my house at home before I go out. I am not sitting on those toilets.
If we're gonna transition into peeing, I stayed at the Connaught in London, and they had the full like urinal down to the floor, but they had a kick plate so it didn't splash onto your shoes. I'd never seen that before. That's my best peeing experience.
They got really good bathrooms at Schwartz and Sandy's.
Not for pooping.
Not
no.
for pooping.
Not for pooping?
No.
No.
How are the pooping bathrooms at Jax's Bar and Grill?
Not good.
But they're not bad.
It's okay. They're not terrible. They're sectioned off and they're just a little tight. They're okay.
I'm like 99% sure this couple that last time I was there, just a random couple I didn't know went in the bathroom and had sex. They came out and they had their hair all crazy and everything.
Good for them.
No, I'm not judging.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like fully flushed face and they had like the eating grins, you know? They were really
I know
cute,
it happened
actually.
a lot at SUR.
I heard on good authority that you two were having sex in the bathroom.
There's a lot of sex going on in those bathrooms.
While we're still on the bathroom topic, I'll say
my gosh.
the best bathroom doesn't really stand out to me, but the worst pooping bathroom of all time stands out for me for my entire life. In Cleveland Circle, right by Chestnut Hill in Boston, it's a big Boston college bar. I went to Boston College undergrad, and you walk in, there's like a urinal, and then there's just a toilet. Prison style.
Oh my gosh. You guys really lit up with that conversation.
This is a this conversation.
At first you're like, are we really talking about this?
Talk about pooping. All right.
Now we're talking.